Thirsty Bitches podcast, where we talk about anything under the sun, from books to entertainment to self-help and even a little spice. I'm Victoria.
I'm Kiara.
And I'm Katalyn.
And today we're joined by guest host Summer.
Hello. Summer. I have to keep up with it.
As you all know, I was coerced into allowing multiple Twilight episodes.
Seem like a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
The last one was so fun.
It was so fun. Katalyn brought out popcorn. Like, it was
Yeah,
great.
I'm going to disappoint this time. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. We still got that moment. It was fine.
But we're here to do part 2, which is going to be over books 3 and 4, Eclipse and Breaking Dawn, for those of you that don't know. And yeah, it's going to be the Kiara and Summer show again, with occasional commentary from Katalyn and I.
Listen, Twilight is my life. And I'm slowly figuring out this past week that also Hunger Games, so I might coerce you into a Hunger Games recap as well, because that is still very relevant.
I wouldn't be against that. I did actually just get a paperback copy of the Hunger Games.
20-minute segment just on Sam Claflin.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
So I had to get it for an event that we're doing in the server, which will have just happened by the time this episode goes up. So
I love that, man. Anyways, before we get into this episode where Summer tells us all of her deepest, darkest secrets about Twilight, we are going to jump into our quenchable moments. And if you're new here, a quenchable moment is something happy or exciting that's happened to us over the last week or so that we want to share with each other and with you. So to kick us off, Summer.
Oh my god, okay.
Summer, what was your quenchable moment?
I got to hang out with Renee this week.
I know, I'm crying. I was very jealous.
She was in Texas for the Eras tour, obviously. So she drove down on Wednesday, and we got to have lunch, and we went to Half Price Books and bought shit tons of books. It was really fun.
Nice.
I love seeing her.
Can I be honest?
I've seen her. Yeah.
Can I be honest?
What?
I don't know what it is with Renee, but for some reason I can never, like, I know where she lives, but in my mind I don't know where she lives because she's always just popping up in places.
That's so true. She
I remember
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I remember the last time she hung out with somebody in Texas, I was like, oh yeah, she lives in Texas, and then I went to send her something like, oh, she doesn't live in Texas.
Like Mississippi?
No, but she's in Texas fairly frequently because her sister.
Because her family.
Are here.
Yeah.
They live close to me.
I'm just like, Renee just lives wherever.
Oh yeah, I got to hang out with her, and it was so fun.
I'm jealous.
Okay, that's exciting.
I'm very jealous. I texted Summer, and I'm just like, I want to be there.
No, I wish you were.
I sent Renee. I was like, give Summer a hug for me.
Literally gives her the biggest hug for me. I was like, Renee.
I did not send that because we know I'm not a hugger.
That's fair.
It's okay. We know.
I was like, give her a nice crispy high five.
No, I think it's because Summer and I had been going back and forth with our trauma dumping on each other the past couple of months. So I'm like, yes, hug her for me. So it works. I'm glad you guys had a good time. As much as I hate that I wasn't there.
I know.
Katalyn, what was your quenchable moment?
My quenchable moment is that my roommate and I, the day after we go see Loveless, are going to go to an event where All American Rejects is going to be playing.
Nice.
Sick.
Not All American Rejects.
I've never seen them live.
They're
good live. They're good.
I didn't know they still played shows.
They do.
My roommate.
I saw them one time when I opened the first show I went to with a Day to Remember and Blink-182 because they opened at the San Diego show. The second time I saw them, it was All Time Low. But the first time it was All American Rejects, and they put on a really good show. So you're gonna have a really great time.
Yeah, it's the other college town up here does this thing every year, where they have like restaurant, like food booths and like music and stuff. And I guess All American Rejects is headlining it. So she was like, take it for like $20, and I was like, fuck yeah.
That's the first CD I ever bought with my own money.
It's a good CD to buy with your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's happening the day after I go see Loveless. So I'm gonna be tired, but it'll be worth it.
If you do not belt out Dirty Little Secret,
oh, of course I will.
Like, and get that on film for me, I'll be so upset.
I'll do it again.
Thank you.
I
appreciate it.
I got you.
Man, we have a lot of demands on Katalyn because I remember I yelled at her about recording 6 last week.
Because I'm going to go see it in London.
We're living vicariously through her. She's doing a lot of things that we do not do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyways,
Love that. Victoria, what was your quenchful moment?
My quenchable moment is actually a gift for my younger sister. So we spent some time at some thrift stores yesterday, and she was acting like a knothead before we left because my mom was originally going to go with us, and she was like, "I've been waiting this whole time." So my mom's like, "Okay, never mind. I'm just going to stay at home." Anyways, when we went to the thrift store, I was like, "Well, because of how you acted, I'm not going to get you anything." But then we came across this backpack. This is a
Oh my
pristine
god,
condition
that's a loungefly.
Yeah, Stranger Things backpack.
The fuck? At a thrift store?
Yeah,
you
it's
got to go
in
thrifting,
perfect
Bessie.
condition.
You find some good
How
things.
much was that?
$30. This bitch normally is like 75.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my sister loves Stranger Things. And with Easter coming up, I was like, okay, fine. You call mom. If she says it's okay, we can get this. And we did.
Nice.
So
Love
That's
that.
she was
insane.
very,
That's a
very
good
proud.
find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good find.
Hey, and I've been
Yeah,
thrifting. I found $100 bill in a book one time at a thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I
Oh my
was one of those
God.
lucky ones that found the money in the book.
Yeah, I found some good stuff at that thrift store. Even though the town that I live in is very small and very old. And I don't mean like it is old, but I mean like the people are old. The older people are incredibly wealthy. So,
Well, that's
like, I
Virginia
mean,
for
we
you.
have a lot of Tesla stations, which is weird. Didn't think that was necessary where I live, but apparently it is. So, yeah. It's pretty common to find a lot of high-end stuff at thrift stores here.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was my quenchable moment.
Nice.
Love that.
Getting stuff for my sister, even though she's a shithead.
I know that feeling.
Okay.
So, anyways, Kiara, what was your quenchable moment this week?
So mine actually also ties into doing something for someone that you love, even though they're a shithead.
I think I know where this is going.
I got my tickets to go home for Riley's high school graduation. The fact that this kid is
Woo!
18 and she is graduating high school,
Congratulations.
I'm floored. I'm going to be a hot mess. I'm going to be crying so much at this graduation because like she's my cousin, but she's also like my little sister, but I also like helped raise her, and so I'm just it's like very dynamic relationship. It's hard to like literally when people ask, I'm like, well, blood, like legally we're just cousins, but like it's so much more than that because she's lived with me almost her whole life. So yeah, I got my tickets and she is so excited. She's been calling me a lot recently, which she doesn't do, and she's like, I miss you so much, and I'm just like, this is weird, like you don't do this, like what's wrong? So she just really misses me. I was supposed to be home obviously in a few days, and I'm not anymore, so she's really upset, but she's coming out here for her 18th in May, and then I'll see her again in June for her graduation.
Yeah.
Sweet. So
I understand that cousin sibling bond. It's different from what a lot of people think it is, because I have that, or at least I used to have that same relationship with my cousin, before they all became fucking drug addicts. But
yeah,
that won't happen to you.
no, I would fucking kill her. We're almost exactly 10 years apart, so she was born 3 months after I turned 10, and so it's like it's weird relationship because like cousins but sisters, but also I'm like old enough to be like a more of like a
Yeah, a
parental
guardian
figure
figure.
at some point. Yeah. I think once I hit like 18, 19, she was 8 or 9, and my aunt was like, here you go. I'm just like, I don't want it. But
I
Riley
understand that.
like suction cupped herself to me, and now we literally do everything
Well, I think,
together when we're home.
yeah, it's a good bond for both of you, though. It creates a really unique kind of relationship, and I think it's important for both people involved.
Yeah.
And I think that she's calling you because she knows that you're sad, and even though that's not her jam, she knows that it's yours, so she's calling you. So
She FaceTimed me while she was at the SZA concert. I'm like, why are you FaceTiming me while you're enjoying a concert? What are you doing? But then she posted something about Lizzo being there because Lizzo opened for SZA, and I'm just like, oh my god, did you have the best time? And she was like, I thought about you the entire time Lizzo was performing. I'm like, oh my god, why? She's like, because you love Lizzo, and I'm just like, you're so cute.
Aw.
Nice.
So she's like, I just wanted to show you the concert. I'm like, okay, go and enjoy it. What the fuck are you doing? I cannot hear you anyways, so yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Kids wild.
On to something else that's wild.
Twilight.
Twilight. Specifically, Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. Like I said in the intro, this is the Summer and Kiara show.
Yeah.
And we're just spectators along with all of you.
If I had popcorn.
For some insight into how we do our episodes, we have outlines for each episode. And 3 of us did not add anything.
I just love the very first line of Summer's. I just love Summer's very first line.
So, Summer, we're just going to let you go ham and, like I said, chime in here and there. Because like I said, the last time have not read or watched these movies.
I haven't seen the movies.
They came out.
You know, if my eighth grade self could see me right now doing a podcast on Twilight,
God, could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean,
we are living our tween dreams right now.
No one wanted to fucking talk about this with me when I was 12.
Listen, Summer, if
Except
we had lived near each other, we would have been it for each other.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal something about myself even as a Twilight hater. Twilight ran through my school like wildfire. I remember sitting in gym freshman year, and I saw somebody reading it while we were sitting in gym class. Yeah, literally on the fourth floor. And I was like, "Oh, what are you looking at?" She's like, "You have to read this. I know you're a fucking nerd because you check out 10 books every week from the library. So read this."
A, rude. B, not wrong.
Not rude. That was true. The librarians were like, "Okay, you have to stop." They're like, "We don't know how you're getting good grades and doing this, but you got to chill out." And I was like, "I just don't sleep." Anyways. So I got Twilight and, of course, fell into the craze. Mm-hmm. And when Breaking Dawn came out, Borders, when it was still alive and thriving, had a midnight release party.
Oh my god.
And I went.
What a time to be alive.
There was a costume contest. They had special food and drinks. And I actually got my copy of Breaking Dawn 30 minutes early.
I love that
because of the fact that the company my mom was working for, did all of the merchandising for that publishing house at Walmart. So she got my copy for me, and I remember walking back into Borders with my copy of Breaking Dawn and seeing literally 1,000 pairs of eyeballs just zero in. I thought I was gonna die.
Bring back midnight book releases, because that was literally so fucking fun.
I never got to experience one. When those books came out, like, my mom wouldn't let me go. She was like, "No, you have to go the next day," and I'm just like,
yeah. I would love to. Okay, so fun story. When Midnight Sun came out, I was so excited, and I was like counting down with all the other ancient Twihards on the internet. I was like, I'm just gonna go see if like anybody is like excited about Midnight Sun. I drove by Barnes and Noble. Obviously, it was a ghost town. Nobody does midnight book releases for Twilight anymore. But I was like, damn, I miss those, and I would love to.
Yeah, it was.
Like, everyone talks about like midnight showings, but like no one talks about midnight releases.
It was a different thing, and they did games, and then it was just really fun and inclusive, and you got to like be yourself in a space with people that were like you. But then to make it even funnier, so my mom is not a reader. She just doesn't understand, and she'll never understand, and she's come to terms with that. But it was different in high school because she would just like really did not get it. She was kind of like that sports dad. But like softer because she's a mom. And so when we went back to my house after the midnight release party, it was literally 9 of us in my basement, not saying a word to each other, just reading.
That's how I'm trying to be. That's my kind of party.
One does.
And she came downstairs. She was like, "You guys want any snacks or anything?" We're like, "Shut up, Mom! Just go away, go away."
So what I'm hearing is we
man,
open a bookstore and have midnight book release party.
Honestly, please,
obvious,
especially with like the
absolutely.
SJM hype, like
Yeah.
people would
God.
go
Yeah.
absolutely batshit for that. Like, come
Mhm.
on,
Okay.
Do you
bring
know
We
it
just need
back.
to all be in one
Do
location.
you know how much money we would make?
A bookstore is my
A
dream.
lot.
Okay,
Same.
I'll make it happen.
Literally, this is why I'm
Same.
trying to get Summer to move up here. Trying to get Summer to move up here because I also want to open a bookstore, coffee shop,
Fine.
bar,
Twist
combo.
my arm. We'll open our
24/7.
dream
I would wanna
bookstore
do
and have
it.
midnight releases.
I want to do it on the East Coast, but
Here, it could be once we get it up and running, it'll be a franchise. You can open one up on the East Coast.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
well, that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, the craze of Twilight was incredibly intense. I don't often like to admit to it. I remember going to the premieres for the movies, except for the last two, because by that point I was over it. But yeah,
I'll never be
I
over it.
just
I think I still have
never
my
saw the
ticket for the
last
Twilight movie.
I definitely still have
I
it
don't think I
somewhere.
have mine anymore.
I'm also
Okay, so
I got some pictures.
Oh,
I
sorry,
need Summer-
Katalyn, go ahead.
Oh, I never saw Eclipse or either Breaking Dawn, but I did read them as they came out in high school. So
You
You never
have you
saw them.
still not seen them?
What?
Katalyn, what the
I've seen
not
New
missing out.
Twilight.
I'm
and
sorry,
New
I'm
Moon.
sorry, I'm sorry. You haven't seen Breaking Dawn Part 2 in the iconic scene near the end? That we all literally
Yeah, I
freaked
will
out
admit there
about?
was
Because I didn't want to.
there was some extreme reactions to that moment. I will say,
Summer.
Rightfully so.
Summer.
yeah, because
Kiara.
it did.
I can't. I'm just like, are you picturing in your mind that moment in the theater being like, this
I
didn't
can
happen?
hear the reactions of the
This
audience.
didn't happen.
People cry.
Yeah.
Bald.
Yeah, people did cry.
Yeah, people
And
burst
Katalyn
out
has
into
not
tears.
seen that?
I
Do
know
you
what
know
it
what we're
is.
talking about? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
She knows what it is.
But
Katalyn,
Anyways,
God.
we'll get into that a little bit more when we actually get to Breaking Dawn. Let's get into the meat of Eclipse really quick.
Okay.
I generally don't remember a lot from Eclipse. I think everything in my mind was over eclipsed by Breaking Dawn, because I remember when I read it, everybody was furious because we were like, it's literally like she printed a fan fiction.
In Eclipse?
We were, because I was deep in my Twilight fanfiction
Mhm.
phase at that point, and I was reading fanfictions that were along that same lines. I read the original 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I was very upsetty spaghetti. So I remember nothing of Eclipse.
I was sitting here working on the outline last night, and I was like, what the fuck happened in Eclipse? All I can remember, I put this on the outline. This is what they were talking about, the first line of the outline. Eclipse was my favorite for a long time because the whole book, all Bella wanted to do was bang Edward, which, like,
Yes.
relatable.
Yes.
So that was my favorite for a long time because Bella was super horny for Edward, and I also was super horny for Edward.
Yeah.
I loved it didn't do it justice in the movie when she walks into his bedroom that night before the big battle, and there's like that big bed, and you're just like, the scene in the book is so good.
Because he didn't
It's
have
so
a
good.
bed in his room. He had a futon. And he put the bed in there for her. And she was like,
And it's like this big, like 4-poster bed. Like, it's like,
yeah. And he was like, no, I'm not gonna fuck you. And we all were like, aw.
then let's just
Did
let
you
her
throw
sleep
the
on the
book?
futon.
No,
Just let her
but
sleep on the
horny
futon.
little queen
Like,
mind,
yeah.
Jesus. Ugh,
anyways.
it was a good scene. Yeah, I feel like Eclipse, when I put him in the hierarchy, Eclipse comes in just before New Moon, because it's a good book, but I felt like there was just, you know, Jacob kisses Bella, Bella breaks her hand.
What I think I liked about Eclipse is there was a lot of groveling on Edward's part to make up for, you know, what he did in New Moon. And I'm a slut for the groveling, so
Slut for the groveling. And there's more time of them being in a classroom where it's dark and they're watching movies. Like, I feel like that was like a common theme every time the lights were off.
Yeah.
It's all that repressed Mormonism going on.
That's so true.
That's exactly what it was.
I'm honestly shocked that there was not a soaking scene in there somewhere.
Please, I don't think it would be appropriate.
No, it wouldn't have.
You don't need
It's like-
explicit description.
Edward totally would be the
wouldn't
one
have
to
it.
try soaking, by the way.
Mhm.
He'd be like, no, I'm scared I'm gonna hurt you. We're just gonna sit.
God.
How did that
Who
not
knows?
make it in the books?
Yeah, he might have, considering he apparently has magic vampire spunk and he's never come before in his life. So maybe he did try soaking.
Wait,
at
what?
one point.
He's never come before?
He was a virgin.
That
Before
was the
sex?
logic. Yeah, that was the logic as to why she was able to get pregnant, because when he died, he had never had sex. So whatever was left.
Oh. I thought it was because he had never had sex with a human before who was able to get pregnant, because obviously vampires can't get pregnant.
I think I'm on the same vein as Summer, because then they brought out those two people at the end, and
No, because
that other woman had the kid too, and it was just like, and there was a random vampire who obviously had sex before them. Because...
Also, are we forgetting about Rosalie and Emmett, who fucked like 10 houses to the ground?
Listen, I am just repeating what I heard in the interview that she did, because people wanted an explanation. And she was like, well, he had never been with anybody before. And so when they were intimate,
he just had that ancient vampire seed
sperm.
chilling in there for 100 years.
Yeah, that was her explanation, deadass. I will find the interview where she said
She's
that.
wild for that.
He went through like the 60s and 70s and 80s and never. Okay, whatever.
Free love.
That's why I said maybe homeboy tried some soaking at one point.
I'll be double dog damn. What the hell?
Anyways, onward and upward from here. I think another one of my favorite things is, again, we talked about this in the first episode, is that we get more backstories of people in the books. I think in this one we get a lot more of Rosalie and Jasper.
Battle
Like
scars.
Jasper's
Battle scars.
I think I just sent you guys another TikTok last night.
Yeah.
He did.
He's been doing that every time he goes to the barber shop now. He does that.
I love Jackson Rathbone so much.
Those are my battle scars.
I love him.
I love
so
Jackson
much.
Rathbone.
Oh my god. What a man.
I knew I smelled a conservative.
I hate that phrase.
But the backstories are like, it's just so much better in, like, obviously they touch on them in these movies a lot more than, like, Eclipse the movie got more of that content of the backstories other than the rest of them. But obviously like, it just doesn't do it justice. And the way that the stories are told is different. Like, I think in the movie it's Edward talking about Rosalie or something, but in the book it's like Rosalie and Bella are standing on like a balcony and Rosalie's like explaining herself.
I think Rosalie explains it to Bella too, because I remember her saying, I was a little theatrical back then.
I love Rosalie so much.
I can never focus on Rosalie in the movie and what she's saying because I'm too busy looking at her god-awful
fucking wig. Yeah.
Listen, Nikki
Tragic.
Reed really did her best.
Yeah.
It is tragic because she's gorgeous.
She's absolutely gorgeous.
She was a perfect cast.
They needed
no notes.
They needed Daenerys Targaryen's wig person for that one.
They needed a black person doing those wigs. Especially seeing Laurent. Like, I'm sorry, that is not okay. That is a hate crime. Saying that on record, that shit was a hate crime.
No.
Anyways.
Summer, you wrote you had a huge crush on the cast for Riley.
Yes. Oh my god, he's so cute.
He was so
Tell
cute.
me I'm wrong. I wanted him to be
You're
Edward.
not.
When I saw him, I said, "What? Why is he not Edward?" I think he's so cute.
I had a crush on Riley, but it was overshadowed by them switching up the cast for Victoria.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that.
Like, because
did we ever get an explanation as to why?
No,
I remember seeing
and
that.
if we're gonna talk about bad wig days, we're gonna talk about that one.
Yeah,
that one was so bad.
That was the one of everyone's tragic ass wigs.
the original girl who played Victoria, it was like her natural hair. Like she fit the character so well. I was like, yes, this is Victoria. And then they're just like, we're gonna bring in someone else. And I'm just like, I hate this.
Something
This is
that
absolutely
Victoria in the book versus Victoria in the movie, the way that I will never forget the way that they described her voice was like a little girl, like bubblegum pink, like innocent voice coming out of this fucking freak bitch. And it was just so unsettling, like cinema of the unsettling.
Could you imagine if they'd gotten that though in the movies?
Yeah, that would have been terrifying.
I would have been like, I feel like the best person who could have done that is if they had put like a red curly haired wig on Dakota Fanning and said, "You're not Jane, you're Victoria."
She was a great Jane as well.
I think she did really well. I would have loved the actress who actually played Bree Tanner to be Jane. That's who I had pictured because in the book, Jane is supposed to be a brunette. And she's supposed to be petite, like the actress who played Bree Tanner. That's who I was like, oh, this one's perfect. But then they got Dakota Fanning, and I'm just like, well, shit.
I mean, at this point, at that point, were we surprised? There were questionable acting choices all around.
Yeah,
no.
we were 3 movies deep. At this point, we just had to live with what we had.
Yeah, and the producers were just like, well, this is what it looks like.
Well, this is what it looks like.
But the only other thing that was like notable about the book, Eclipse the book, which again, like the reason New Moon is last is because I fucking hated it. It's the only reason it beats out Eclipse for me. Like I don't want to read about the wolves as much as everyone else loves them. I don't want to read about them. Eclipse was just like not notable. I think the only thing that like really sticks out in my mind is the ending where Jacob and Edward are about to like go at it because Jacob's like, "You're getting married and he's gonna turn you, and I don't like this." And I'm like, Jacob, calm the fuck down. You are like 16.
Just wait until she gets
Your
pregnant, you'll be
hormones,
fine.
your hormones are running rampant. Like, just shut the fuck up and sit down.
Dude, can we talk about how Edward and Jacob were trading Bella back and forth like divorced parents? Like it was like, oh, it's Jacob's weekend to have Bella. Like, what a fucking weird dynamic.
It's like, Edward, just be possessive and don't let her go. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, but she needed him. She needed Jake.
Again, just give it another like month and a half, and you'll be good. You'll be Gucci, okay? Man,
And then
Jacob really was a
they're all three
butthead in that whole
tent.
book.
All three in the tent together.
Oh God, I hated that scene. I'll be honest.
Gateway to forced proximity.
Like,
oh no, we gotta snuggle for warmth. No.
Oh,
it sounds like this
God.
series was just a gateway drug to all the different tropes.
It
so
really
true.
was.
Yeah,
really
the
was.
Twilight to everything pipeline is very real.
But I will have to say, this is the movie where we met our favorite boy, right? This is where we met Seth, right? He came in Eclipse.
He was there for a hot second in New Moon, I'm pretty sure.
I remember him in New Moon. No, I think
we like
he did
met him.
he
met
did
him.
turn in Eclipse because he's young. He turned really young because all of the
it's
newborns were running
because
around.
Yeah, the newborns were coming up and they had that conversation about how like there was a lot of shifts.
Maybe,
so Seth was
maybe
mentioned because of his sister.
Yeah.
And she was like the first female werewolf or whatever.
They did Leah so wrong, by the way.
So wrong. Like, and that's another thing, like something we missed out on is like these really deep personal moments between Leah and Jacob in Eclipse and Breaking Dawn were never in the movies.
Yeah.
Like we got the scene where Jacob like left. He was gone. Off doing God knows what, meeting people and being like, I could do this. I could start a life with a random person. And I'm just like, yeah, bye. Get lost.
So vicious.
Please, as long as you stay as far away from Bella as possible. But we met my baby Seth in Eclipse. I love that boy. Literally no harm comes to this kid ever. I will kill someone.
I'll die for
So
Seth.
I will die for Seth. So when they played that scene in Breaking Dawn Part 2, I was like, absolutely the fuck
was
not.
fucking brutal.
That's where I lost it.
Same here. That was it for me.
Not Carlisle, Seth. I was like, what? He's a kid. He's a kid.
I was never super up Carlisle's ass to begin with. I'm gonna be real with you. But
I'm more up his ass now as an adult than I was when I was younger.
me with Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Valid.
But yeah, I feel like Eclipse wasn't as notable. Breaking Dawn, though.
Breaking Dawn was good, and I'll die on that hill.
It was real good.
The only thing is
It
the
was real
pregnancy
good.
thing pissed me off.
It pissed everyone off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was, again, like reading a fan fiction.
Like, are you kidding me? They got to fuck 1 time? 2 times?
And now she's pregnant.
Am I pregnant?
I love that video. What happened to the guy that was doing the songs?
What?
Do you remember this? The guy who was doing the songs with those, am I pregnant?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
He's around here somewhere. Anyways, yeah, it was infuriating. It was so upsetting. One, because we were all teenagers, and none of us had thoughts about kids.
That's my biggest fucking fear is teen pregnancy. And now she's pregnant?
Bella out the gate. Just graduated. Pregnant.
I was so Team Edward here, not gonna lie. Like, get it out.
Oh my god. Have you guys seen, there's this person on TikTok, and they do, like, the timelines of people in books.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, I've seen this.
Yeah,
and
she did
she did the Twilight, and she was like, this bitch met this dude, got married, and had a kid in less than a fucking year. I'm just like,
absolutely not.
Wild. That's so Mormon.
And he was gone. But don't forget that he was gone for a good chunk of that.
In a year and a half. In a year and a half, they met.
Yeah.
They got together. He left, came back. By the time he came back to when they have Rasputin, Renesmee, whatever the fuck you want to call her, like the child, like it is like Rigatoni. It's like a 7-month period.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's very short amount of time.
That is fucking crazy. Stephanie said, "We are in love and we are starting a family."
You want to talk about instant
love? Not to mention that her pregnancy was only like a month and a half.
Yeah, Charlie said, "What the hell is going on here?"
Rewind real quick. You just moved here.
Can you imagine how fucking confused that man was?
Bro, you're like I'm confused.
I'm fucking confused, bro.
Listen, we were all confused. That bitch went from I hate it here so much that there's never son to Edward is my son.
And this baby has a full set of adult teeth.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. That's nightmare fuel.
That
Oh, it was seeing it in person was nightmare fuel.
Why the fuck did they do that? Are you telling me we can CGI werewolves and we can't CGI a realistic looking baby? What the hell?
I don't know.
Have you guys seen,
I think
you guys are y'all y'all watch Julian Solomita?
Occasionally.
I used to.
Jenna Marbles, her now husband. So he live streamed watching all the Twilights for the first time. And Renesmee came on the screen. He said, "What the hell is even that?" It was so fucking funny because what the hell is even that?
Girl, yeah, when we were at the museum,
they had the actual doll.
They had the doll there, and he was like, I guess they wanted to have like a sense of realism with it, so they had like a physical child. I was like, why are you not using an actual child and like, CGI their face over it?
My absolute favorite thing, is the footage of Nikki Reed holding it. Absolutely terrified.
She's like, I have to look like I love this thing.
It's like she was like, it moves in time with me, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, but what makes it worse is the silicone that they made its face out of was a really it's not a long-term type of silicone, so its face started to melt, so it looks even more demonic now.
Mm-hmm.
It looks bad.
Summer, when you come to visit, I'll take you.
Hold on.
Oh, I would love to see the melted face resume doll.
Yeah, we have pictures.
Mark that off my bucket list.
Be on the lookout for those on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see
I
it,
have no
Summer?
doubt that at least
Yeah, I
one
do.
of them will be the picture.
It's
Ew.
with my light.
Ew.
Great, but
And then the label on it is Chuck Esme.
Yeah, Chuck
Yeah.
Esme, like a Chuck.
I hate that.
It was that,
Viscerally,
and
I
then
hate it.
we had the why am I blanking on Homeboys? I literally just read the book. We saw the feet. James. We saw his
Yeah,
feet.
James
They had
did.
his
Oh my
feet
God.
shoes. Yeah.
That's so
feet
funny.
And in my and
it was not great.
in that moment
that.
I saw the feet and I'm like, why not just go barefoot? Like, why did we think shoe feet?
Because they were on that thing that they had to pull as they were pretending to run. I think that's why.
Well, there's this thing that they
Oh.
have where you can literally stick like sticky things to the bottom of your feet that are like tread like shoes that you can just like they're like
Bestie, remember the time in which this movie was filmed?
They had them then too.
What
they
year
have
was this made?
This one?
I don't know.
That one was in Twilight for James. That one was
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it was
yeah,
sophomore.
it came out in 2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's 15 years old.
And also, that's the
You know
only
what,
picture that I took in
Katalyn?
that entire museum
Stop.
was of those feet boots.
As you should,
It
honestly.
was so good.
I would have
It
done
was
the
so
same.
good. But these were the first movies that I went to midnight showings for, which it was Breaking Dawn 1 and Breaking Dawn 2. Let me tell you, Breaking Dawn 1, we dressed up. We had a little
What did you wear?
So we dressed fancy. We had a bridal shower for Bella.
Shut the fuck up.
We were first in our line. We had a table. We had pink stuff. We had bridesmaid sashes.
What? Oh my God. That's so funny.
I didn't choose the theme. I was just there. I'm like Katalyn. I just work here. I was invited.
I'm just here for a good time.
Like,
oh my God.
Incredible.
Like,
that's mortifying and so funny, and I love it.
I don't have much memory of like the rest of it, just because a lot of like traumatic things happened to me like within a 24-hour span after that. So yeah, I found out that one of my friends the next day, and then that same day I found out my dad was leaving my mom. So it was like a very traumatic like 24 hours post seeing this like movie.
Oh my God.
So I don't have very much recollection of like the event.
Yeah, that's fair.
Breaking Dawn Part 2 though, very aware. We camped out. It was absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Camped out like in a tent?
Didn't even have a tent.
Theater?
Oh. Didn't even have a tent. Like in the cold, on some blankets.
Camping out?
It was just us. The next person didn't get there until 5:00 in the morning, and we're just like, we could have just waited, because it was at the time where like you couldn't like just pick your seats before you went to the theater.
Yeah,
like you literally had to like.
Could you buy your tickets ahead of time, or was this a buy ticket?
Yeah. We bought our tickets ahead of time, but we just couldn't. We had if you wanted a good seat, you had to wait. So we did that. We also dressed up for this one.
What were you this time?
Victoria has already seen part of this costume.
Oh, I have.
Haven't I seen it?
So we were the werewolves. And we made
I did help pack this.
Yeah. We made ears, but we also made tails.
Amazing. You went to the premiere as furries.
And I had a tail pinned to my ass.
Bestie.
I'm pretty sure the tail is somewhere in my mom's house. Like I didn't listen. I have the ears. I still throw them on every so often. I can grab them. I don't know where they are.
But why aren't you wearing them right now? What the hell?
This would have been perfect.
I'm crying.
The furry comment just sent me.
Listen. Okay, well,
So out of pocket, dude.
they've been requested, so
Oh my
You know where
let
they
me
are?
find them. Let me find
Bitch,
them.
I am running on 3 hours of
We're
sleep.
gonna-
That was so out of
Let's pause really quick. I'm gonna find them.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be back in a sec.
I found one.
So,
How did that like attach? Does it? It's just
It's a
she's holding
clip, so it's
got
like
a
a
little
barrette.
clip.
It's a barrette.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so there's supposed to be 2. And we all had different colors. Like we literally went to like Joann's and we all picked out like a different like
You
color.
made these like with fabric and shit?
My friend made them, yeah.
Wow.
She made the tail too.
Dedication.
Honestly,
Yeah.
your friends are so like they love a theme, and I respect.
I'm
that
not
so much.
Yeah.
unfortunately I'm not friends with any of them anymore.
It's fine. You're friends with us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I definitely like regret because the friend who made this, like, it was we both had a falling out, but I feel like it all started with something like that I did in high school. And it wasn't anything bad. It was just I was in a lot of different groups and I was hanging out with a lot of different people, and she was not the type of person to do that. And I think it just kind of put a lot of stress on our relationship. So
It happens.
yeah,
Well-
it's something I regret. I always check on her. But anyways,
The ears live on in memoriam.
Yes.
So,
The ear,
At least
I should
one.
say.
okay, so speaking of going to the movies on themes and everything, I'm sure you all have seen the TikToks of people going to screenings of Twilight and all of that. Since becoming friends with Summer, it is now my goal in life to go to one of those
Bitch.
and do a theme with you.
That is, I swear to God, it's on my
Just
bucket
for
list.
the sheer,
I'm sorry.
just for the sheer experience of seeing you in that moment.
You
I would
lifting
choose
yourself
that.
out of your chair right now was like David at the dentist.
Please take me to a Twilight live
Is this
showing with a bunch of
real
other
life?
tryhards. Oh my God, I would thrive.
Could you imagine Summer and I at a screening together?
That's all I
Yeah.
want.
Well,
please.
and then here's the thing. So my Alamo. So I don't know why Virginia has an Alamo draft house. We have 2. I don't know why, but we have them.
Why did I think
But
you were
my
saying
local Alamo,
I was like, I have an Alamo. You don't have an Alamo. Sorry.
Alamo Draft House, the movie
Sorry.
theater.
Yeah. Okay.
Alamo Draft House. Anyways, we have a lot of film buffs that have like clubs at our Alamo. Like we do a horror movie monthly thing. Like they do very specialized screenings all the time, and you can request screenings. So
When we're out
I
there,
could always request a Twilight screening.
Fucking please. And to that, if anyone ever hears of a Twilight like live screening event, please send me the link. I will buy a ticket.
I don't
I'll fly
think-
there.
I don't think anyone wants to
'Cause
be
the
in the
only
theater
ones
with us
I've
this
ever
summer
seen,
because we'll just be line for line.
yeah,
I want to do
Well, the
that
only ones
so
I've-
bad.
It's like the
the
Rocky
only
Horror
ones I've
Picture
ever
Show, but
seen
with
are out of the
Twilight.
US. So. Yeah. Well, the other thing is too is I also have a local like small hometown theater where you can do screenings, and it's like significantly cheaper because the theaters are really small. So we could potentially do that. As
Please.
well.
Please.
Just
I'll
throwing
dress
that out
up.
there.
I'll dress up. You bet your ass I'll
I
dress
know
up.
you will dress up.
I'll make a blood sacrifice if I can do that.
As
Oh
much
my
as it would
God.
make my what's left of my soul shrivel up and die, I would do that.
It would
for
be
all of
so fun.
I could just imagine Summer's laugh in the middle of this is the skin of a killer. Or
This is the skin of a killer,
Let's
Bella.
be real. She'd be
Shut the
wearing a
fuck up.
shirt or something with that on it.
I have that on a shirt. And
She
I
would
it.
wear. She
Exactly.
would wear the Robert
tracksuit.
Pattinson in the tracksuit.
Yeah.
This is the skin of
Exactly.
Yeah. I would, did y'all see when Jenna Marbles like rhinestoned her whole face?
Mhm.
It's gonna be me.
Please
Oh,
do it.
Like in the theater doing it as waiting for the line to come up.
Yeah.
Please
this is
do
the skin of
it.
a killer, Bella.
We could see Katalyn's reaction to that scene in real time.
I would
I
love
mean, you
that.
would have but like,
Literally,
like drag me,
so
take me
my-
to see these movies. I'm so sorry. I love you all.
oh
One-
come on, you wouldn't do a group showing. Listen. You helped coerce me into these goddamn episodes.
Yeah,
The
you
least
did.
can
It's
do is
good.
return the
This is my
favor
entertainment. This is my
and
entertainment.
suffer through the movies.
Come on. It's not about the movie.
Maybe.
It's about the experience.
The
And
joy.
yeah, for me, it's not about the movie. It's about watching everybody else act the fool.
The joy I feel when I find someone who has not seen any of the Twilight films or read the books. And there's some unicorns out there.
Some
And having them
unicorns.
watch the movies. I kid you not, this happened before I met you guys, but it was when I moved to Boston, and Theone had never read Twilight. She had never seen Twilight, and I had coerced her into watching them with me. And she was like invested. She was invested. And then Breaking Dawn Part 2 happened. And she was watching this, and Carlisle died, and she was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I live like the experience that we all live for with SJM, the end of CC2 with people. Like, I live for the experience of having someone see that moment for the first time.
Yeah. Oh man, I always liken it to the Hans reveal from
Yeah.
Frozen.
Oh yeah.
Like, because you will never ever find a moment in a theater where you will get that same experience. Like,
No.
and people are like, "Oh, well, the end of Endgame is similar." I'm like, no, they're two different experiences. Like, this is absolute torture that you did not see coming. Endgame is absolute
wasn't in the
like
books.
joy that you wanted coming. Like, two different things. Technically, it was because Alice like showed her vision. We just didn't get to see the vision. So this was them like being like, okay, like we have to do this.
That
And
was
like
Yeah, no, I
straighten
know like the
everyone up.
vision itself was in there, but we didn't read
No.
Carlisle getting his fucking head ripped off.
No, and
trauma.
Everyone in the theater when that happened, and then the moment that it like all went back to Alice holding Aro's hand, and you're like, oh my god.
I think I yelled, "What?" in the theater.
Well, and that's why I like to liken it to the Hans reveal, because that's the only other movie that I've seen in theaters where people had like physical, visceral reactions to what they just witnessed.
Dude, people were bawling their eyes out.
People were standing up in my theater screaming.
Yes!
People were running down the stairs. Like, it was
anarchy.
Absolute chaos. Like, it is like
so fun.
1:30. I was like, it is 1:30 in the morning, and we are unhinged.
We ride it dawn, honestly.
And I didn't go to a premiere for Breaking Dawn Part 2. I think it was out for a couple of months when I went and saw it. I saw it at like a local mall theater with a friend of mine, because we were like, we got to see this through. We gotta finish it out. And so it was us and her boyfriend at the time, and then maybe like two other people in the whole theater.
Did you know what was coming?
No, because this is pre like
social media. Like, social media was like a thing.
Crazy social media spoiler issues. So we didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
And I remember when it happened, and I turned to her and I was like, "Do you remember this?"
And
she's like,
"Fuck,
no."
Hold on, like.
And we're both like sitting there thinking so hard, trying to remember, did this happen in the book? And we're like,
the thing with it is, the funniest part about that whole thing was that a thought crossed my mind when this was happening, and I'm like, they have fucked up the movie so much at this point that they really said hard left.
Like, book? What book?
I was just like, this tracks for how the movies have done in comparison to the books.
Yeah, so like, why not just slaughter everybody really quick?
Why not just change the ending?
Whatever.
God.
The main character, the two-ish main characters survive.
Technically, in the fight scene, Edward, Bella, Renesmee, and Jacob all survived. Just everyone else died. I was like, this is not fucking happening. I think my favorite in that scene, my favorite moment was Marcus.
Oh yeah, he was like,
finally. Like, so good.
Mood.
So good. And Jane realizing that she can't use her powers on anyone, and Bella's just like,
suck my dick.
She's like, I'm a shield, bitch. Everyone's like, ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. I loved it.
Man, what a scene. That was a while. But Breaking Dawn overall had some really great moments Also, just that I
Yeah.
love. Like
I
that's
think-
you named my daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
I think Breaking Dawn Part 2 was like out of all the films, Breaking Dawn Part
It was-
2 was my favorite movie. It was my favorite movie out of all of them.
It was, and I think it had a lot to do with Kristen, the way that Kristen played Bella, like coming into
As a
her own as a vampire,
Mhm.
and
Oh, she was raging.
like finally it made sense, and I feel like she did a
Mhm.
really good job.
I think she did a really great job with that one. I loved seeing all the vampires come together. Oh my god, I loved all the vampires together. It was so good.
Love seeing Lee Pace.
That's
all I care about.
Lee Pace, chef's kiss, that man. Like it was just, I think it was done so well. Remy, like
Oh yeah,
one of the very first films we ever saw Remy in.
Yes.
Like, what a man! Like,
yeah. I always forget that he's in that until I see it.
Yeah.
I love the Denali clan. Like,
Yeah,
obsessed with them. Like it was just so good.
Yeah. Have you all seen the video going around about them pranking on set during the battle scene?
They did the dance
No.
off.
Oh
was-
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I have seen that.
They did the dance
I was
off.
like, oh, even they realized they had to throw some levity into the situation.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like watching it. I'm like, this is so cringe because
It's
just
so
certain people and
corny.
some of the people on the
Mhm.
cast, you're just like, you did a flash dance.
That'd be me.
Remember the time frame.
It was
Oh, yeah.
2013.
People
2012.
forget what year it was when that happened. So, like,
the
that
year
was very
the year that they
normal.
filmed that was when Harlem Shake started.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
that.
We had Harlem Shake and
So-
Gangnam Style. So, and we had
Mhm.
we had planking happening at the same time.
What the fuck was wrong with us?
A lot.
So much.
So much.
So much.
So much.
Summer.
Who let us on the internet? Truly.
I think the
Oh,
easier
let-
question is
Summer,
what
we
isn't wrong
built
with us.
we built the internet. Are you kidding
Built
me?
this
No one-
city.
no, Gen Z and Gen Alpha would not have social media if it was not for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our generation built
Yeah,
this shit.
We walked so they could run.
Mm-hmm.
truly. Oh my god.
Yeah. Ugh, what a
I-
time.
Breaking Dawn, what a wild ride.
Breaking Dawn was one of my favorite books. It might be my favorite
Mm-hmm.
now.
I think I really loved the ending of Breaking Dawn Part 1.
With the eyes.
With the eyes, with the werewolves like coming in and like
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to fight the Cullens,
Mhm.
and then Jacob running out and Edward just being like, he imprinted on on the baby, and everyone just like stops. I thought it was done so well. Definitely like kind of what I pictured in my head, but I just really loved that. And then everyone just like freezes because they can hear a heartbeat again, and we're just like, Bella!
Yeah, that was a good shot. I
And
can give them
Rosalie's
that.
just like,
I'll just never get over the Loch Ness monster line. It always cracks me up because she says it with such ferocity.
She
I'm like,
does.
all right, Casey, you gotta chill.
I feel like it's like the same, because when I read the book, I think when I read it, it's you name my baby after the Loch Ness monster, like very quiet, like very just like
Yeah.
feminine rage. It is the same lightning to Thor. It is the same thing.
We said Cobley.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Like in the books, in both of those books, they do it like very quietly, very like.
Yeah.
But in the
Mhm.
movies, it's like ferocious.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yep.
like, wow, we're finally getting an emotion here.
Yep.
It's not the right one, but it is an emotion.
Yeah, I really loved like the ending of Breaking Dawn Part 1 into Breaking Dawn Part 2. I think it was,
Yeah.
and like just the transformation scene, and then the last thing we see of Breaking Dawn Part 1 is her eyes, and you're just like,
Reading that was crazy.
crazy.
I
I
remember
liked
that vividly.
the interaction with Emmett after she's turned.
Yeah.
I just love Emmett. Period. All the
Me
way
too.
through.
We stand the
We stand.
himbo.
Mm-hmm.
And they built that little cottage in the woods. I fucking loved
Mhm.
that. That's all I want. This little cottage
Mhm.
in the woods with a vampire forever.
Mhm.
Kidding me?
They also did, I think, the very end where Bella is showing her memories to Edward. I really loved that scene in theaters.
Oh yeah.
I
Always
really
forget about that.
did. I had been like waiting for that the entire time we were sitting there through Breaking Down Part 1 and Breaking Down Part 2 on like in theaters. I'm just like waiting to see this scene because it's like one of my favorite scenes when he
Dude.
finally is able to like see into her head.
It makes me cry. The end of Breaking Dawn Part 2
Mhm.
makes me cry. What the fuck is
It's
wrong with
so
me? Every
good.
time. Because it's the song and the memories.
Mhm.
And then they have that flip through to the last page. And it's like the last line, which I have had memorized. I memorized the whole last page of Breaking Dawn in middle school. What the fuck is wrong
I'm
with me?
not surprised.
I
That
could
doesn't
write
surprise
it.
me.
I could write the whole thing down from memory.
That's impressive.
I'm not surprised by that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise
Am I proud of it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
me. You know what, you should be.
Gonna own
Honestly,
up to
you
it.
should be.
Yeah.
So, man, what a wild time Eclipse and Breaking Dawn were. Just the whole saga as a general.
I just like I
It's-
find it so funny because I never went to any of the Harry Potter midnight showings, but I feel like
I
it
most
was
certainly did.
I know you did. I know probably all of you had gone to at least one.
I went to them all.
I went to
So
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I didn't go to any of those, but I just like from what I know with friends who did, because the people I went to these midnight showings with for Twilight went to the Harry Potter ones. Harry Potter and Twilight midnight showings were like completely two different beasts. Like it's like the demographic of people who are there, the energy,
Yeah.
like the styling is just so different.
Twilight midnight showings were feral. Even.
Feral.
Oh yeah, they were unhinged.
I went to Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Breaking Dawn Part 2. I think I went to Eclipse, but I didn't get to like hang out all day. I had to get dropped off later in the day after school. But like it was insane.
And then these happened on Thursday nights, by the way. So then we had to
Yeah.
go to school the next morning.
Yeah. Oh, I did not go
Yeah,
to school
and
the
because
next
of
day.
that, like when New Moon came out, my mom did let me go to that, and I went with a friend of mine, and another friend of mine said that she was gonna stop being friends with me over that shit.
What?
High school.
Yeah, because I went to the premiere without her.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a little much.
That's
But
like
yeah,
I was
that's the vibe.
You bet your ass after the first movie came out, I was in Hot Topic buying every piece of
weren't we all?
merchandise
Oh my
they
God.
had.
Okay,
Every
quick story
piece.
time.
I probably still have them somewhere.
When Twilight came out, it's 2009, right? We're in that. I'm in the throes of my Twilight passion. Robert Pattinson visited the mall close to me. It was like he came to Dallas, and it was like an hour from my house, and he made an appearance at the Hot Topic in the mall. And was signing autographs. Y'all, I have pictures from this event. Me and my mom took me and my best friend, and it was psychotic. The amount of girls that were there. I have the most blurry, zoomed in pictures of Robert Pattinson. Can't even tell who he is. And I wore my Cullen Family Crest t-shirt, and we all just fucking screamed because Robert Pattinson was like in our atmosphere.
I had the
My
same
mom drove me an
experience.
hour to stand like a mile away from him. In front of 500 other 12-year-olds.
I had the same experience with Vampire Diaries. They did a signing at a Hot Topic in a mall near me, and my aunt took me. And we didn't end up getting into the Hot Topic to meet them, but I was like at the window, just.
What is that about? Hot Topic really like cornered the market on the.
But I got to
Hot Topic has
craze.
Avatar stuff.
I got to see one of my like favorite artists at the time, and I still fucking adore this artist. It's A Fine Frenzy. I don't know if like any of you have heard of them. I feel like Summer, you probably know the music. If I like played it for you, you would know.
Maybe.
I got to meet her. She autographed my shit. I'm like, I have loved you for like years. And I'm like 15, 16 at this point. And she's like, you've been following me since I started? I'm like, I did. I was like 12 when I found her. And the fact that I got to see her perform like an acoustic set and then get her autograph, I was like, this is better than meeting the Vampire Diaries. Because it was just Paul and Ian that were there. It wasn't anyone else.
Nice. Now you can see them at their brewery. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, as far as Hot Topic goes, I feel like Book Nerd is a very short step away from Weeb.
That's so
and they
true.
already had a really big corner on anime, so it wasn't like that far of a transition.
Yeah,
true.
But anyways, Twilight is a monster and will always remain a monster, and it's altered an entire generation of people,
It altered my brain
and
chemistry
Mm-hmm.
it truly
permanently.
did.
Guys, I
And
used to
we perpetuate that shit.
we had a condo in Arizona, my family and I, when I was in like middle school, and to get down to like the river in Bullhead, like you had to go down to the bottom floor, which was like this dank ass hallway, like it was creepy, it was hot and dark and shit, and I would play Flyleaf in my ears and pretend I was in Twilight and I'm like running to this hallway, pretending like a vampire's chasing me, like
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
it's
god.
like a like core memory, like it is locked in there, like the feeling of walking through this hallway listening to Flyleaf, pretending I was in Twilight, because Flyleaf and Twilight
Mm-hmm. That
hand
was
in
the same
hand,
era. You know when they
hand in
would make you
hand.
run in school, like in PE, they would make you
Mm-hmm.
like run the mile. I would listen to the
Mm-hmm.
Twilight soundtrack while I ran the
Yeah.
mile. So now I have like this weird sort of association with the Twilight soundtrack and like painful physical
Running.
exertion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only way I
Listen,
survived it, and that'll stick
everyone's
with me
like
forever.
oh
Nice.
no, Paramore with Decode, Supermassive Black Hole, like that's Twilight. Me, I'm like, nah, Flyleaf. When I was reading those books.
Hey,
Period.
shout out to Spotlight though. That was the best song on that soundtrack.
Period.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to know what your all's core Twilight memories are. Feel free to share them with us on our Instagram at Thirsty Bitches Podcast, or you can email us at tbp.staythirsty@gmail.com, or you can always hit us up in our Discord server. We don't currently have a Twilight channel, but
Why the fuck don't
We
we?
should. We should.
if people get the ball rolling, we recently introduced forums, so it could happen. But yeah,
Mhm.
just let us know. We'd love to talk to you guys about it. Well, some of us would love to talk to you guys about it. I'll
Yeah, I'm
just
someone.
I am
silently,
someone.
not so silently judge. Anyways, but yeah, Twilight, it's a thing.
It
So
exists.
it
I
Love
exists.
exist
Twilight.
permanently up its ass. So
Summer
It
and I
changed a
together.
generation,
Two peas in a pod.
and it will continue to ripple out and affect everyone from this point on. So, anyways, Kira, can you take us out with an affirmation?
I will. So today's affirmation is, I reject all negative feelings about myself and my life, and I consciously accept all that is good.
oh, love that.
Aw.
Because I'm a vampire, bitches.
Oh my god. Summer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Always
having me
fun.
as always.
Always chaotic. We love it. Thank you everyone else for joining us as well. Make sure to tune in on Tasty Tuesdays and Thirsty Thursdays for all new episodes. Be sure to subscribe and follow our socials listed in the description. Make sure you like, rate, and leave a review for the podcast to help boost us across platforms. Helps more than you know. Have a lovely day. And remember, stay thirsty, bitches.